Well, we are about an hour out from the first race here. Bit of a January swan song as we come down to the wire here this opening month of 2020 on this blue sky Wednesday, January 29th, with the mighty Pegasus watching over us in the background, Ronnie. We've got those postcard palm trees and plenty of dirt and turf action over the next few hours coming down the pike. Jason Blewett, Ron Nicoletti alongside. Hope you're doing okay. Couple of days to freshen up, I think, for everybody following Pegasus Mania here last week through the weekend, of course, and we're back at it as, again, we basically hit the halfway point of this meet.
Yeah, we were just at the end of January, like you said, and you're just showing that shot. Boy, what a beautiful couple of days it's been here. So we're starting today. Fast main track, firm turf course. And if you weren't here on Sunday, it was mandatory payout for the Rainbow Six. So we start anew this afternoon.
Indeed, we do, as we begin not only, of course, the run-up to Saturday's Grade 3 $250,000 Holy Bull, but the second meet as a whole, which with the Pegasus in the rearview mirror is obviously very much devoted to our march towards the Florida Derby and beyond with the Kentucky Derby and the Triple Crown races. But although Pegasus is over, Ronnie, we still have our popular free-to-play Beat the Expert every Friday, and you will be in the pressure cooker in about 48 hours.
Yeah, but that is on Friday. And of course, it's free-to-play. Got a chance to win one of those cool polo shirts, hashtag Beat the Expert, play along with us, and that's each and every Friday during the championship meet. And as you see with that lovely face there, it's my turn up.
Yep, that's right. Acacia did a good job, but 3 winners last week. 3 people beat me the Friday before, so you gotta right the ship, my friend, this coming Friday, and that will be, believe it or not, January 31st, Saturday, which will be drawn today, the 1st of February, and that'll include that Grade 3 $250,000 Holy Bull Stakes. Now, moving ahead, we've got, of course, a little recap to this point in the winter meet here at Gulfstream Park concerning the jockey and trainer standings, and just looking at who's where and some of the numbers, mainly dealing with Rod Ortiz Jr. and Luis Saez. I mean, you've got to combine, 128 victories or 118 victories between the two of them? And how about a Rod who just hit $4 million in purse money won? 67 wins already.
You sure that isn't a typo? That's
Holy
amazing.
Smokes.
67 wins already, and Louis, you have 51, and got a lot of the meet yet, a couple of months to go. And then you got Paco, Emicial, and Tyler Gaffleone moving up the ranks there with Tyler.
Absolutely, and Louis will see action alongside trainer Todd Pletcher, who is right in the thick of things, the trainer side of things, way more tight per se. You've got a Rod and Louis, but looking at Todd, who will again team up with Luis Saez in the first race aboard the current 4-5 favorite in Quick Enough, he's got that slim lead over Jorge Navarro and trainer Mike Maker coming on with a giant weekend here, in fact, winning the second running of the $1 million Pegasus Turf.
Yeah, with Zulu Alpha, just unbelievable. He's got 19. Safi right there with 18. Jason Service 11. So that's always a tighter race. The jockeys last year was between Irad and Louis. It was close. Not this year. Irad's got that big jump on him. We'll see how it plays out.
Definitely. Still a ton of racing to go, even though this meet has gone by in a hurry. And we'll get tied on and settled in for a little rundown here, just as far as the multi-race wagers on the card. Now, no carryovers to be had this afternoon. A blank space following the Super High 5, the Late Pick 5, and, of course, the Rainbow 6. But we got to start somewhere, and that's with a perfect 5 palm tree out of 5 weather day on this Wednesday afternoon at Gulfstream Park. And I'm going to take a little gander here, Ronnie, at the early pick 5 as 3-year-olds ring in the new week here, the new 5-day racing week on the turf in this $20,000 to $18,000 claimer, likely using, when it's all said and done, the 2 favorites, the 5 Quick Enough, who's going to be favored in this race for Todd and Louis. And on the outside, I know Ronnie's got some interest in the 9 Captain Flint, who I respect with his big speed and that big turf win 2 starts back. I'm going 3 deep in a complicated second race that had a couple of key defections, maybe none more impactful than the 4-race Warrior. Just didn't have a strong opinion there. I'd rather have some coverage, even though it's a 5-horse field. I am inside and against the horses. You've got a 2-horse key rematch in that 3rd race that concerns the 3 Alien Invasion and the 7 King Orb. don't like that race. That's my opinion of that, of the third race as a whole. I just don't particularly care for the race they're coming out of, and I'm using High Noon Rider and Tropicat from post 1 and 2. Fourth race has my single. I didn't see a morning line, but I'd imagine the 10 New York Giant off a big figure is going to be a big favorite in that race, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, and I think that with the second choice in the Uno Baby Bird, who scratches, going to make the 10 look even a little better in that spot.
Yeah, he'll go from the outside in a cast of 9, and I'm 3 deep wrapping things up. A rare Bill Mott starter in a $16,000 turf maiden claiming race, Antonio with the 8 Bacano and Paco Lopez. Don't you get a sense, though, in the feeling that the 10 Alaskan is hands down the horse to beat, taking that big drop for Mike Maker?
Yeah, I singled him in my Rainbow Six, as you see, with a $28 ticket, but that's a little further down the card.
Now, you and I probably, I didn't know who you put second here, and we'll see in a second. I happen to notice you picked the number 9, Captain Flint, on the outside. In fact, 5-9. I had a feeling it was going to be 5-9-9-5 for the boys here. The 5 Quick Enough is dropping out of a much tougher field that produced the next out winner here late Sunday afternoon, and Blazing Desire, who was one of many horses, wound up chasing a very impressive and otherworldly Monforte. An easier race today in for the 20,000, although at some point, Quick Enough is going to have to likely get by your horse who's got the speed in the 9, Captain Flint.
Yeah, drop it to the 20 level today on the turf after following a front-running maiden victory. That was on the grass, comes back, sets the pace, fades. That was against those 35 maidens going that mile into 16th on the main track. I like to move back to the turf. Speed play for me, Quick Enough for all the reasons you mentioned. And we close it out with Shanghai Mood, who's a $180,000 son of Shanghai Bobby, debuting on the turf. You know, he looks like he's in a spot to grab a share.
Yeah, he's down in class regarding where his prior turf race was, and even that synthetic race at Turfway, kind of a nondescript horse on paper. We'll see if a spot like this as a whole can wake him up a little bit for trainer Ken McPeak. We move to the main track. A lot of scratches on today's card, and again, noteworthy scratches, and maybe at least as far as the first few races, none more important than the 4 Raised Warrior, who I'm a little bummed he's out because I did not like him at all in this race. Now, I had picked originally the number 2 Desert General, just thinking that he's got that one race since coming in from Cali for trainer Elizabeth Dobles, and a very good effort behind Mr. Attila, who's got a ton of back class.
Yeah, he was really solid in the defeat. He rallied 5 wide, as you mentioned. He finished second in front of the horse that scratched Raised Warrior when they hooked up at this level. That was in their last start. Elizabeth Dobles, Edgar Zayas. But I originally I didn't like Raised Warrior that much either. I had him in second spot, but I did have Starship Apollo on top, who's drops back into the winning spot, I think, after following the victory at this level and distance. Chases, finishes third against those 16 state-bred optional claimers. I think these are we got the logical 3 up there. And going 3 deep in this race is the right thing to do with your early pick 5, because I'm not sold on anybody in this race.
I know. I like Starship Apollo. We love him as a horse. I mean, he's about as solid as the day is long in career start 49. Do you make the argument, though, or at least the case, that he might be starting to tail off and he's no longer Jorge Navarro, now with Angel Quiros? So, yeah, coverage might just be, as silly as it sounds, the way to go in that second race if you're playing the early 5 and/or early 4 on the afternoon. Now, we're up in class here, and to a large extent, I think things open up in Wednesday's third as we get ready to rumble at a mile and a 16th on the turf. And for better or for worse, I just don't like, and both these horses were about to check out from the 1st of January back on New Year's Day, ran well in this particular race. Now, Patty O'Dini, the number 2, is a scratch. So let's just focus in on the 6 King Orb, who's sitting 4th right now, and of course the story of the race, and likely the favorite coming back today, is the number 1 Alien Invasion. I just felt at the end of the day, Ronnie, although Alien Invasion might be set for a bit of a resurgence, I just don't fully trust him as like the obvious of obvious lone speeds in this upcoming third race. And I got news for you. I walked away from this race thinking that King Orb just sucked up for second. Don't like this race as a whole. That led me to a very logical horse like you in the number 2 Tropicat, who's back on his game. That was a big effort last time out from Ralph from post 11.
Yeah, stretching out to the mile and the 16th, he rallied, defeated those 25 starter optional claimers going a mile. Last out, certainly his biggest challenge is going to come from Alien Invasion, who stretches out to 8.5 furlongs. He's a speedy gelding. You just saw his last race. turf course is sort of tilted towards speed. You know, it's sort of even out at the end of the week, but during the beginning of the week, speed was good on this course. We've had a couple of days with no rain, so we'll see how the racetrack plays out. And King Orb, he's going to suck up for a share, I think. Today's a late striding type, and he finished. You know, but he's got Irad Ortiz Jr. in there. You never can throw him out.
No, absolutely. 67 wins as we checked out just a few moments back. Field of 5, and maybe we'll get some sharpness here from the rail with the one high noon rider. But clearly, although I'm a little gung-ho here, not liking that alien invasion race. I mean, he's got to outrun 4 horses early, and again, he's got all the ones, and they're going to have to get by him at some point. We'll see if they're up to the task. Let's move on to the 4th, and you're dealing with, as we move further along in this Wednesday Fast and Firm Early Pick 5, a real favorite. Let me see your program a second. I'll throw to the race the last out race of the 10 New York Giant, which I don't think it was a coincidence this big effort was first off the claim for trainer Saffie Joseph Jr. Yeah, Jay has him 7-5, and that's with Uno Baby Bird in the race. So you're looking at an odds-on favorite in this cast of 9. He had that early trouble, steadied pretty abruptly, and it was a drastic steady early on. To his credit, though, this horse was able to re-rally this gelding by Giant Surprise, and he does everything right, but eventually cut down the horse that beat him on the point that afternoon. And as Kari, who was a 6-1 upset chance. Good effort here, obviously, with a big figure for the number 1 horse, New York Giant.
Yeah, you know, with that 1 horse Saturday, Uno Baby Bird. So New York Giant's going to break from the outside. He departed this day from the rail. You saw that. He had that early traffic problem, and he still came within the head of Saffie's keeping the apprentice on, 7-pound apprentice Gadiel Martinez. I went with the 3. I thought this horse had a big shot in here today to get part of an electric heat. He's dropping to the bottom on the main track. He showed some early interest, and he faded against 35 maidens going a mile on the turf. Look at Amador Sanchez. He's 4 for 16 with the grass to dirt move. This bond has been en fuego. So I think if you're looking for an exacta play behind New York Giant, maybe use a horse like Electric Heat or Captain as you Fofo. That's one of the things. I know I'm surprised you got him in second. I knew you'd have him somewhere on there. He's a big fan of Howard Stern. Is that a Fofo thing?
No, you're thinking of Baba Booey or a Fafa food. Yeah, no. Capitan Fofo, and this horse was running. There was another Antonio horse who, for a change, didn't show up. There was another silly name, the
Right.
Capitan Fofo, and the other horse. But, yeah, no, Edgar to ride for Antonio Sano. And we'll give everybody a Baba Booey as we take a quick time out here on Wednesday's Gulfstream Today. Back after this.
It's the dawn of a new day in racing. All attention is on the safety of the horses from more professionals than ever before. Our eyes are on the prize to gallop past the old era towards a reinvention of our sport. Take your place with us now. This is it. The future of racing is off and running. It's all happening at each of our world-class venues. Our new vision for racing will drive us past the finishing line, heralding a new era for the sport. When betting, avoid the rush and allow First Bet to give you a leg up. Our app uses real-time data to help you make your bets with confidence. Enjoy a new vision for post-race entertainment, from the oval to the stage, the after party, and beyond. We invite you to the future of racing, a first of its kind.
About 45 minutes out from starting a new 5-day racing week here at Gulfstream Park as Ronnie and Jason catch up with all of you. And we're glad you're with us on this 10-race Wednesday as we have the Holy Bull being run here Saturday. And that is the spot that 'tis the law, Ronnie. I think it's safe to say making a very highly anticipated 3-year-old debut for Barkley Tagg.
Yeah, he didn't go the Breeders' Cup route. He wanted to go here. He wants to go in here into the Florida Derby and on. So the Holy Bull is like one of my favorite races because that first race where you start saying, hey, this horse might be able to win the Florida Derby or the Kentucky Derby. So always an exciting time of the year at Gulfstream Park.
10-4-2-1, your Kentucky Derby points layout with Saturday's Grade 3 Holy Bull, and that's a good point. It's our first Derby prep per se. Florida and Kentucky, of course, run around 2 turns,
Right.
and we're expected to have Tiz the Law, who will be schooling, by the way, during the first race right after the horses leave the paddock, so we'll be covering him for Barkley and Saratoga. Your Rainbow Six, we'll get to it in a second. Here's a little reminder, though, little more than 48 hours out from this coming Friday on the final day of January, the 31st, in our 12% takeout Stronach 5. We've got 2 in the mix, Ronnie, from Gulfstream Park.
Yeah, Leg B and leg D. Excuse me. So that's our 8th and 10th races in the card. We got Golden Gate. We got Santa Anita. Everybody's in. Laurel Park starts it off at about 3:50 there or so.
Yeah, about 70 minutes, give or take, 80 minutes from start to finish with the 5 races come Friday, January 31st with the Stronach 5. We had quite a few winners, and that was nice to see. Not that it was an easy cakewalk of a 6-race sequence in Sunday's mandatory Rainbow Six payout, but the jackpot survived, and we begin anew, my friend. We'll plant that acorn in the ground, and what are you doing today?
I got a $28.80 ticket, and as we talked about earlier, I singled Alaskan in race number 5, and then in race number 6, 2 deep with the 3, Wolf Ridge, and the 6, Flawless Moon, who I had on top. Of course, I had to use Captain Ron somewhere on my ticket in race number 7, and that is the 5-horse, also our Bodie Boy and Honolulu Express. Lost a lot of my top picks today. 3 deep in race number 9 today with the 3, 4, and 6. And in the 10th race, I lost my long shot there, but I did go 4 deep. I figured with $28, I could spread a little bit in race number 10.
So the 10th race today, Ronnie, that was a good fool-around race. Oh, was it Franco's team, your long shot?
The 2-horse.
Yeah, I had liked that horse, too.
Yeah.
I had put him second, unbeknownst to me. That's a bummer that he's out now because I thought he'd run well there at a price myself. But a moot point, we begin, and as Ronnie eloquently pointed out, you've got a real favorite here that you singled in the Rainbow to start things out. In the 5th race, a low-level 3-year-old turf maiden claimer, and that is the drop down here for Mike Maker. A rare Maker claim, it seems, these days that hasn't worked out successfully. 16 Gs for the 10 Alaskan.
Yeah, drop it to 16, stretching out around 2 turns this afternoon. Made that middle move last time out, flattened out when finishing 6th against 32 maidens. That was going 5/8 of a mile. This looks like a typical Mike Maker drop down. He's going to run well, and you get our leading rider, Irad Ortiz Jr., handling the added distance this afternoon. So I thought if you're going to single somewhere, that might be the way to go. I did use the number 4, Traceability, in second, who's the son of Munnings, debuting for Bill Mott with Lasix, Edgar Zayas. It's a homebred, working consistently up at Payson Park. I had to put a Bill somewhere on the ticket there, but I did single Alaskan.
Just not every day. In fact, quite the contrary to that. You're running across a Bill Mott homebred in this case, as you said, by Munnings in a 16K maiden claimer here. But Traceability getting Edgar Zayas, who feels like he's made some inroads. He's riding a lot for Bill Mott these days.
Yeah, it looks like he rides first call during the weeks for sure.
Yeah.
You know, and he's doing the Garden Edgar, just one of the best. Hung out with him a little bit on Sunday night. He's always a lot of fun with his beautiful wife.
Yeah, no, Ashley's terrific and brand new mom and dad for the most part. And, we like the Zyases quite a bit. We also like our Gulfstream Park late pick 5, and there's 5 to go as we turn the page and come up on race number 6. $24 play for me. I had a whittle down here and there, and in the end, before I sent it up to the boys in the control room, I didn't have a single, and I was trying to fool around with just ultimately coming up with the single to lean off of and spread maybe in some other spots, but I couldn't do it. So I am too deep, and what really at least complicated matters for me, Ronnie, off the bat in this $24, as it turned out, late pick 5. I mean, the scratch of the 8 more than striking. Matt, I don't know what price this horse was on the morning line, but I'd imagine he was pretty short here, and he looked like a lean for many people, including myself.
No, I had him on top of my ticket. It might even been my best bet. I don't remember, but I think it might have been. But he's out of the race, so I scratched into Flawless Moon, one of the horses you did use on your ticket.
Yeah, and I don't fully trust him, but I think the positives coming into this spot, A, there's no more than striking to run with. B, some of these horses in this cast of 7 are just way off form. And C, maybe the most important one is you might be dealing with a 4-year-old and a half to the big beast, by the way. Not that that matters, but I always think it's kind of cool that this horse is a half to the big beast. Probably, I think the argument's there that this horse just simply needed that last start when he was going a mile. So he's supposed to be, theoretically, he's supposed to be stronger this afternoon.
Well, he moved to the Sandra Moutier barn via the claim, turned it back to 3/4 of a mile today, surrendered that mid-race lead to finish third, was the 3-5 favorite that afternoon going that 1-turn mile. So I ran in the saddle, so that was how I looked at the 6 Flawless Moon.
Yeah, you're going 6-3, I'm 6-5, thinking maybe the number 5 Blue Buff might wake up here trying the dirt. dirt. I can still remember being down here freelancing for XBTV when he was tipped out for Joe Orsino in late February of 2017 at being a very good horse. Obviously, one first out, and there's been some lengthy layoffs since then. He's in for the 12-5, and we'll try to make a race of it with the big beast little brother. Here's the 7th race, and do like this race quite a bit, and this is one that, for the most part, stayed intact after scratch time. You can take out the number 1 Scribe, but again, all the players are here, and I think we're looking at a swiftly run race. I think there's going to be a fast pace in this spot. Now, if that is the case, Ronnie, the number 5 Captain Ron, he's in a spot where he can beat you on the point, but he can also pass horses. I love you get stability and versatility with him, and clearly you like those things too.
Yeah, he's if we're going to try state bred competition, he set that pressured pace last time. Finished in the dead heat for second against, I thought, a solid group of 25 open claimers. Rohan Crichton, Miguel Vasquez at the top. This is a 4-time winner at the distance, so we know this Captain Ron, like you said, can handle on the point or just off when he's running at 5 furlongs. I had our boy Bodie in second, and I know you wanted to show me his wild ride.
Yeah, I wanted to look at this horse because, again, I think he's going to get a fast pace to close down, and I wanted to go back and just, if you haven't watched the race, I think it's worthwhile to, because I noticed the short comment was heels clipped, and I wasn't sure what that meant, and in the end, I thought this horse had a pretty good trip where he was more or less just chasing, covered up, down inside in the pocket. Now, jockey Paco Lopez, who won't be aboard today, Jairo Rendon, will ride this 9-year-old son of the Wildcat. I thought Paco just rode this horse perfectly, and I was under the impression prior to watching the race that maybe this horse had a disastrous or very tough trip. I thought he got a very good ride, and a lot went well for a horse who, when it comes down to it, Ronnie, although he was a 4th, beaten about 2 in that blanket finish, to me, he's just a logical major player in the race, as you're looking for one of the speeds clearly to hang around at the end in the number 3, our boy Bodie.
Yeah, sharp winner against 35 claimers on the turf, 2 starts back, goes back to the grass after disputing those swift early fractions, finishing second against those 16 state-bred optional claimers, going 5 on the main track. Georgina Baxter, Nick Juarez in the saddle today. Just a horse that I think, if he gets loose on the lead, could be dangerous in there. He's going to got to stay out of a duel with Captain Ron. And I closed it out with the 2 Honolulu Express, a winner of 6 of 13 races. This horse knows where the winner's circle includes 3 victories right here on this turf course. Making his first start, he defeated those claimers at GP West. So coming back, Barry Croft, Luis Saez. I got to use that horse on my ticket.
Let's move on to the 8th race. 2 turf races remain in a grass-heavy late pick 4 on this fast and firm Wednesday. Older fillies and mares in the $16,000 to $14,000 claimer. 1-4-4-1. I think going in, you've almost got that argument, for good reason, too, on paper, that high jingo from the rail for Jason Service and the 4 Awesome Roar. To me, at this stage of the game, maybe they're just a little more talented, a little sharper than just about everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough to separate. It did go with high jingle and break from the rail after departing from the outside last time, post 9. He went up, he dueled for the lead, vied for the lead. He finished second. That was in her local debut. Jason Service, you mentioned the connections. She likes 5 furlongs, 3 starts, 2 wins in the 3rd. Awesome Roar, really sharp winner at this level, a couple of starts back.
Here's the 9th. We are on the main track. Our final spin today over the dirt. Stretching out in distance, going a mile, got some older 50K starter allowance types. 2 in the race for Jorge Navarro, 2 in the race for trainer Ian Wilkes, and then you've got Safi trying his luck and hand with the 6 over deliver after our top pick, the number 5 Speed Effect, scratched out of this race. Now, tune-in's the first replay we'll get to. We've got a couple last out efforts to show you here. This gelding by Country Day got a good ride from Luca Panici, was up close, mid-pack more or less. He'll tip out 4 wide or so, and he will win and get the nod in one of those crazy nose efforts where he was just able to, again, to get the nod and the bob under the finish line over Jack B. Winkle. This was a race, Ronnie, last Friday we had talked about fairly thoroughly because Jack B. Winkle was coming back, and my argument was, or at least my sneaking suspicion was, for a race that had come up so fast that I wasn't sure the quality was there. and Jack B. Winkle didn't get bet, and he dropped from an 80 buyer down to a 51, running a distant fifth. I'm curious to see what the 3 tune-in can do coming back as one of 2 in the race for Jorge Navarro.
Yeah, he's going to stretch out to the one-turn mile today. Jorge's really sharp with that move, about 25%. Luca Panici going for 2 in a row. And as you mentioned, had speed effect on top, scratched it to tune in. The other horse we wanted to look at was the 6-horse Over Deliver.
Over Deliver is coming out of you talk about eking out a win at 2 to 5 odds. Now, maybe a case could be made. He did not like a sloppy track last time out. It looked like at this point he's starting to range up 3 to 4 wide with that sweep in the orange cap that he was going to blow by everybody. He barely won this race. Now, the good news is he doesn't have to deal with the sloppy track today. Weather's a lot nicer than it was, or at least the track condition, some 48 days ago on December 12th. And I might make the argument, with no speed effect in the race, this horse at a compact cast of 5 from that outside post is going to get the best of it as he goes off the claim for Safi.
Yeah, getting Tyler Gaffalione in the saddle today. You saw that performance, and that was shipping down from Amity, defeated those claimers. So he got a win over the track, closed it out with Gentle Warrior in there for Ian Brooks. Hasn't been seen since Ellis Park last July. Thought maybe that horse would suck up, but lost my top pick once again in that race.
New York Style, who I've got second, looks like the one to catch, and his chances may have been bolstered with no speed effect in the field with that early speed, having to outrun just 4 horses. Turf nightcap here on this January 29th. 3-year-olds, $32,000 to $30,000 maiden claimers. You can take out Ronnie's long shot, the number 2 Franco's team, and you and I towards the outside. And I like, out of the couple of rematches in this spot, 2 recent Gulfstream turf races, I prefer the Dancing Dunhill race that the 9 Bling Seeker and the 5 Let's Play Hardball are coming out of, as opposed to the Big Treasure race, the race won by He's Super Lucky back the day after Christmas. So I'm just going to take a very logical horse here in the 9 Bling Seeker. You obviously bid on a horse in Mazzano who looks like, gives the patina of a horse that's going to like the turf.
Yeah, drop it to the 32 level on the turf after responding to both the addition of Lasix and blinkers with an improved 4th place finish against those special weight runners going 3/4. Ken Sweezy, leading jock Irad Ortiz Jr., lost my long shot in there. I think you got to use 8, 9. I closed it out with the 4 beyond the call, beating 3/4 of length against those 25 maidens at the distance.
Yeah, I see your horse, Verrazano Lemon Drop Kid.
Yeah.
That's the pedigree,
Yeah.
trying the turf for the first time. Family's been mixed results in the family as a whole, but a good spot for that horse to potentially wake up for Ken Sweezy and Irad Ortiz Jr. in the nightcap. As we continue to move forward, we'll have Tis the Law schooling in race 1, and we've got plenty of Pete Aiello coming up next.